Hey everybody, welcome to Geeksvana Live here on a Friday evening in the UK. We are again here with a quick update to discuss the UK CAA call for input on drone regulation changes in the UK. As many of you will be aware, we held a live show just last night looking at the response mechanism in place for the CAA call for input and how many of you, the Geeksvana audience, felt the style of the response was not suited and were unable to express complete and specific parts of our feedback. This was a frustration that I certainly shared, and during yesterday's show, I suggested we needed an ultra simple system to allow people to give answers that are not controlled by a series of questions which were designed, in my opinion, to help pull correlated data from. We suggested an email address could be the simple system that could complement the existing system there. Certainly, the initial feedback from viewers during the show itself in the live chat, but the dozens of comments received on the video suggested that many were willing and keen to submit opinion and information, but as I was saying, felt very frustrated. Well, this morning, the UK CAA moved very quickly to contact Geeksvana and provide a simple solution to the issue. An email address, which was already associated with the call for input, can now be used for feedback and comments from anyone to submit from. The email, which the CAA are actually happy for us to share on screen, this is the one that they sent to us. I always like to be as open with you guys as possible, is this one here. As you can see here, it says, "Hi, Sean. My 4-month-old Xander and I both watched your YouTube live yesterday evening. Thanks for keeping him entertained in what was a very fussy evening for him." And that's obviously from Callum Holland, as you can see there. He has had the joy of his first child recently. I have confirmed this morning with the team managing the consultation that they are happy to receive the feedback via this email address, uasregulatoryreview at CAA.co.uk. Don't worry, that's going to be in the description after, and I'm going to explain where else you can find that email very easily as well. We will, of course, continue to review our processes to ensure the whole community feel engaged and supported throughout consultations. Kind regards, Callum Holland, Transformation Lead for RPAS and AAM, Safety and Airspace Regulation Group of the Civil Aviation Authority. So, that was a quick response. We actually received that at 9:28 AM this morning, which was fantastic. So this is the email address here, uasregulatoryreview at CAA.co.uk. This email address will be in the description of this video straight after the show this evening, but it also appears on the call for input document itself and the response page. In fact, I have that here. So you can see here it is on the response page there under the contact, basically. It now simply becomes another form of providing actual feedback rather than it being a contact point as such. Now, you'll all recognise Callum's name as the CAA representative who appeared on Geeksvana. I'm going to leave this up during the rest of this little bit here. Several times, he appeared on Geeksvana several times over the last few months, particularly around Christmas, to help comment on the confusion surrounding the AMC and CAP document releases. But now, to me, the fact that the CAA have listened to the feedback and responded so quickly is, to me, something which I think should be applauded. This was a quick move to help as many people as possible to submit their views unconstrained by the structure of the response form system. You can, of course, still use that response system if you prefer, and if you've submitted anything on that, it will, of course, still count. That this is to complement the existing system rather than replace anything. But on behalf of the Geeksvana viewers, I do want to thank the CAA for the swift response. We will certainly be holding them to account on the promise in the email to continue reviewing their processes to ensure the whole community feel engaged and supported through consultations. Now, in terms of how to reply using the email address, it would be a good thing, in my view, to try and make it a little easier in terms of gathering the data together. I'm aware we've gone from being a structured document to suddenly, hey, actually, yes, everybody can reply via this email. So I would suggest noting the page number you'd like to comment on and then enter your thoughts alongside, etc., within the email. This will keep things nice and simple. That is, of course, just my suggestion. It is important to ensure that our own views get heard on what is the start of a very important process for the UK drone hobby and industry. The closing date is September 7th, 2023, so please do get submitting. Even if you submitted and you feel that I saw some people's comments in the video from yesterday saying that they've put in there, this question does not make sense as a reply, and also I do not understand this question in context. which I think were fantastic responses, but now we have an opportunity to comment on the specific parts of that document that you wish to. So I would say get submitting. Even if you've already submitted, get some more information across there, which perhaps, as I say, you weren't able to include because of the fairly closed nature of those questions. Now, there have been many requests to hear my responses and to have the document itself broken down into areas of importance that I recognise as vital for the hobby to protect and comment on, to protect things like the sub 250 gram permissions. It makes a little bit more sense for me now. It's a little bit difficult before because when we were having to reply in those questions, I think that was something which was slightly awkward to be able to do. But if you would still like that, let me know in the comments and I will organise that for the middle of next week. I think it is important we engage, and it's important we engage whoever we are, recreational camera drone flyer, FPV enthusiast or professional. And I think having a simple email address that we can send our thoughts across to is about as low lower hurdle as can be in place, basically. Even just sending an email with an explanation of what holds you back, frustrates you, or could change is important. Get sending those emails before the closing date of the 7th of September. So, as I say, I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to bring that up again in just a couple of minutes, but I just want to pop across the chat very quickly to see the response that we have from people in the chat. And again, thank you so much for joining us on back-to-back evenings on what is a fairly heavy topic, basically, and I do appreciate it, especially as we're moving, as I get the right camera there, sorry, especially as we're moving into the weekend now, and a bank holiday weekend here in the UK as well. So Lindsay Hayes, wow, result. You got a mic drop moment. All credit to the CAA. They are listening for now. Yeah, absolutely. And as I said in my video last night, I did feel like whatever you feel about the consultation process, whatever you feel about whether or not the answers are already set in stone, this consultation process and the feedback I have been getting from the CAA regarding it, they've been talking about it for a while. They've been excited. There've been some very passionate people about it, and the responses that and the information that I've been getting from within the CAA as a journalist dealing with them, it's been nothing but excitement and nothing but openness, wanting to have conversations with people. So, as I expressed in my video last night, it didn't feel right. It didn't feel that they were trying to block us off completely, because frankly, why would they put all these points in the document and then not allow us or not want us to actually comment on it? It just didn't feel right, basically. Off-axis comments will be used against us. Well, that's always, part of a consultation, is it? It's getting your viewpoint across is something that you really should get there. Luke Smith, I sure it'd be great if you could help everyone with places that reference subjects that are important to everyone. Yeah, I think that will be something we will do. Thanks both Sean and team, and obviously Callum. The hours of studying and spreadsheets I had open will now hopefully pay off, and now I can email and provide better context to my original reply form. Yes, because Stuart, you commented just before the show that you've just filled out the original a few hours ago, but as you say, we can I'm doing the same as well and submitting a further email with some more of my precise thoughts on that, which that will become the show during the middle of next week. So if you really do like the deep dives on this, or if you would like some help with the responses, then do be there. In that show, I will also include a Q&A part so that we can actually answer your specific queries. You can raise parts of the document to me and say, hey, what does this mean? What's your interpretation of that, etc. More than happy with that. XJet Bruce, hi, applause for reacting, withheld approval until we see whether the responses are listened to, absolutely, and used to properly shape regulation going forward. Completely agree with you, Bruce, completely agree. We applaud it, but we will keep them accountable as much as we possibly can moving forward from that point of view. And as Tazzy says, one of our senior mods, I did see Andy's in the chat as well, El Smeghead, great to see you both. Thank you both for your hard work in the last couple of weeks in particular. If you don't reply, you can't complain. Well, you can, but yes, indeed. And yes, as Graham's saying, their vague questions are completely disingenuous to an open discussion process. And hopefully, Graham, you'll see that now with being able to submit things via the email address, that actually, which is pressing the wrong button there, which is this one here, we will actually be able to get our views across in as pure a form as possible, basically, exactly as we are thinking them, exactly as we want to express them, basically. So to me, I think that is at least a good move forward. Andrew Maudsley, good to see you. Hope you're well. Definitely going to be sending them an email. Hopefully we all do not get put in a shared email as we did when reporting XJet. Very good. Must have been 200 of us in the same email and the CAA trying to retract the email. Okay. Mark, yeah, CAA, please slacken the rules in the Mavic 3 Pro and the Air 3. Absolutely. The C label system and the proposed and the CAA initial thoughts on how they might handle that are in this document. So absolutely get emailing with your thoughts on that and just expressing that. Open the email, express what's important to you. That's the advantage of having a system where we don't actually need to answer via that question process. The fact that you've now got this email address to put your views across means that we can now actually get our views across exactly as we want them to be. And Stephen Hurst, well done, CAA. We need to keep talking and understanding each other. Absolutely. And that's exactly what this channel is all about. It's about bringing the two sides together, which is exactly what we said in our show last night. As frustrated as I was, I did feel like we could bring the two sides together. Wasn't expecting a response at 9:30 a.m. this morning, which was even quicker than we can put a show together pretty quickly, but that was even quicker than I could put something together. But I really do wholeheartedly appreciate that. But as I say, we are going to keep the CAA accountable as we move through the process, especially into the main consultation itself as well. And they have promised to actually show the responses and how those responses are broken down, which they've already promised to put in the executive summary in terms of before they actually go forward with the final recommendations to government on the consultation. So we should be able to track the process and track the responses. So even if you feel that your submissions will not be listened to, that perhaps even higher than the CAA, the government have already made their minds up, we can hold them to account through the regulator's code and via the information that we're providing. If everybody is saying one thing and they want to go in another direction, as per the regulator's code, they need to provide the proof, the evidence on the risk, etc. So we will have something that we can at least hold them to account to. I'm not saying we can change the world of drone regulation in the UK even necessarily, but we can certainly try to hold it to a little bit more account. Excellent. Okay, well, that is the very quick update for this evening. I wanted to keep it quick so people can pick up on it quickly as well. And I did take up more than half an hour of your valuable time yesterday evening talking about this as well. But again, get submitting. It's going to be in the description. It's on the form that you've already downloaded. The links to the forms will also be in the description as well if you haven't saved that. It's also on the response page as well. So if you click on the response page and the actual base page, this one here, it's there as well. uasregulatoryreview at CAA.co.uk. So get submitting before the 7th of September. If you're interested in our deeper dive next week, do tune in for that in terms of the actual parts that I think are key, and also perhaps where some of the unintended consequences of agreeing to certain parts could impact other things, then do keep an eye out for that show. Again, even if you submit over the weekend, you can submit again next week once you've watched that show as well. So yes, and next week we've also got a very, I would probably say call it interesting show coming up on the world of auditors using drones. We've got an interview to play out from the UK National Police on that one, and also looking at how this document might impact those kinds of flights as well, and how perhaps it's having a somewhat of an impact on the wider hobby. And is that a thing, basically? Could just a few audit flights actually do that? We'll have to wait and see, but that will be coming up early next week as well. It's a bank holiday weekend, so we're going to enjoy that extra day off here on the channel as well. We're actually rebuilding the other studio this weekend, so we'll be showing you that next weekend during the week next week as well. We're hoping to do a lot more how-to videos and that type of thing. We're going to be calling it the drone room. We've got some interesting tech to show you that we're putting in that particular studio. So again, have a wonderful weekend. Get submitting before the 7th of September. Sean out.